It's working, it's working! Hi guys, thank you so much for being here. In today's video, we're going back in time. Back to a time where if you were invited to a dinner party, you most likely would have seen frankfurters suspended in gelatin. And you would have eaten it. And you would have liked it. You weirdo. So why are we talking about this? Every year I make an illustrated calendar, and last year I did one based on strange proverbs with a slight medieval theme, and I even did my own wax seal on it. And then this year I was thinking, how can I step it up a little bit? And I'd been seeing these retro recipes floating about. They're weird and they're whimsical. All the things that I love, right? And then I thought it would be so nice if the cards have the silhouette and each month is a different recipe. The inside of my mind, you should really see it. It's beautiful. Somebody's detain me! So first let's get into the history, just very quickly. Where did these things come from? Where did they go? Because I have not seen these in my lifetime. These gelatin dishes actually date all the way back to medieval Europe. Dishes reserved for nobility and the high class because they were very expensive to make, very time consuming. And then fast forward to the early 1900s, the Industrial Revolution. Instant foods were now becoming accessible. You could have a little taste of luxury yourself for a fraction of the price. Then fast forward to the 1950s and refrigerators were now becoming common in every household. So it was really just the perfect storm for these recipes to come about. But there was one problem. Housewives viewed these instant cake mixes and instant jello mixes to be seen as lazy and the signs of a bad housewife. So marketers had a problem now where they had to try and work around this social view so that they could sell more of their product. And that's when these recipes were then developed. They were putting the labor back into the process. And this was after the Depression, where homemakers were trying to stretch their ingredients as far as possible. And what better way than to suspend them in jelly and give them a bit more body. And I think that's really why the rush of popularity for these recipes was just as quick as the downfall, and by the 1970s you really couldn't find them on the shelves anymore. But as strange as it was, there's something I really like about how whimsical it was and resourceful, elegant and creative with the very little that they had at the time. Unfortunately, it just probably didn't taste as good as it looked, and that's why it died out pretty quickly. Okay, now I'm going to go through the 12 different gelatin recipes that I'm going to illustrate for this calendar. I'm pretty sure I'm going to regret this idea by about jello number 6, 7. I think it's going to get old pretty fast for me, but let's crack on. Okay, we're starting off strong with salads. It's National Use Up Your Leftovers in a Jello Salad Week. Duh. The best week of the year. I love how a day wasn't enough to celebrate this glorious national holiday. Okay, next we have my favorite one, I would say, and that's peaches and cream. It just looks lovely, and I love the contrast between the milk. This is the one I'm actually going to make later on in the video because I'm actually dying to try this. Next, we have a very pretty one. This one's called the Crown Jewel. What they did here was make different colors, separate mini jellos first, and then cut them up into chunks and fill it up with this creamy, milky gelatin so that when you cut into it, you get this gorgeous effect. And for this one, I've gone with a bit of a birthday cake theme. Next, we have a more daring version of a jello salad, this time with eggs and shrimp. I know deviled eggs were quite popular at the time, and I just love the way they look against that green. Okay, now we have what I would say is probably the most offensive recipe yet, and this is frankfurters and spaghetti hoops. There's little I can say about this one. Aesthetically, it's interesting, but I just cannot shake the feeling of what it would be like to eat both of these foods cold in gelatin. I mean, let's move on. For this one, I just went with a regal theme. I know party cakes were very popular at the time with all this kind of intricate icing, glacé cherries, and also some shell biscuits. I mean, it's just classic, isn't it? Next up, we have a fruit cocktail. And this one is really great for the 1950s because canned foods were, of course, having a real moment. And suddenly you had all these tropical fruits that were very accessible, especially after the Depression and after the World Wars, such as pineapple, peach, pear, cherries, and grapes. I mean, this one looks absolutely delicious as well. I would definitely try this one too. Okay, now we're going back to being a little bit freaky. And this one is fish. Now, I don't think they would ever actually suspend the whole fish like this in jello, but I just think it looks so pretty this way. I took a little bit of creative license for this one. But fish actually seemed to be like quite a popular choice to put in gelatin. As you can see here, the new olive salmon noodle ring. When you put it like that, okay, that sounds pretty good. I kind of like the fish-shaped molds, I'm not gonna lie. That looks kind of fun. Next we have a circus-themed animal cracker jello. Now I haven't actually seen a recipe that looks exactly like this, but this was inspired by some circus-themed cakes I had seen from that time period. Okay, next. Everyone loves a roast dinner, right? It's like the highlight of the week. But what if it was the worst moment of the week? Well, I have just a recipe for you. I guess you could get real creative with this and use gravy to flavor the gelatin. People did seem to get quite creative with this one though, layering the different foods to create different patterns. Next, we have a creamy, shiny blancmange. I can't say it any other way, blancmange. That's just how fancy this is. And look, it's even got a glacé cherry on top. So you can't get fancier than this. But I think this has got to be one of the least offensive ones. And then finally, the last recipe to finish off with a bang is this lobster gelatin. And the inspiration for this recipe, we can thank Escoffier, a master chef of his day in the world's most luxurious hotels, the Ritz in Paris, London, and New York among him. But again, this one's probably one that your everyday Billy and Jolene aren't gonna make. Really exploring that terrifying range that no food is really safe from being suspended in gelatin. That's the bottom line of this calendar. And then the final thing to do was to actually design the desk calendar pages. For each card, I want the gelatin to be pretty much the main event with this die cut silhouette at the top to give it a nice shape. And then a little space at the bottom for the days of the month. So now that I've sent it off to the printer, and what better thing to do with my time than try out one of these jello recipes. I really did debate whether to do one of the freaky ones. Coincidentally, I do have a bunch of peaches in my fridge which are about to go off. So in the true spirit, let's use up all the random stuff that we have in the house and suspend it in poor old gelatin. So bad. Oh no, it's actually got mold on it. The timeline is a bit off because I completely forgot about taking the jello out of the fridge and trying it. Let the audience decide. Look, okay, take a look. Oh, this is not good. I shouldn't show this to you guys. Anyway, let's see. Oh. Did I do something wrong? Oh. Oh boy, can I eat the whole thing? Okay. I just did this to it. I just cut it out like that. Oh my god, this thing tests me every time I use it. Calendar looks like this. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Please, please, please. I just cut right through it. I mean, we're closer than last time, right? Oh my god, it's working! It's working! It's working! It's working! It's working! Well, there we go. It took about 5 attempts for me to get this right. It's just been such a long process because I still haven't been able to afford my own printer. So every time I messed this up, I had to get in my car, drive to the printers in Manchester, collect it, and come back home and try again. Is there a better way? Probably. I don't know. There was honestly so many times where I wanted to give up and I just thought I was being too overambitious, but I got there in the end and I'm so glad I persevered because this is probably one of my favorite things I've ever made. And I've already got an order from Laura. She's my best friend from high school, so shout out Laura. So I'm just packing up her order here now. So hopefully I can send a few more before the new year. And normally I would end the video with a cringe outtake, but this video has been full of ups and downs. The original idea for this started in August and now it's November. I finished it now, finally. I'm gonna leave it on a good note. So thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!